It's a revolution. We're equipped for the tribulation. God's laws are written on our hearts and minds. We're breaking down the altars of Baal. We ain't worshiping Moloch now. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of His testimony. The blood and the testimony. Do you have the testimony? Do you have His testimony? Are you whiter than snow? Whiter than snow. Whiter than snow. Whiter than snow. Are you whiter than snow? Yeah, whiter than snow. It's another Maccabean war. Judah's lined up and ready to roar. Do you have the blood of the Lamb to cover you to stand before the great I am? See the skies roll back. Do you hear that shofar sound? We're being gathered to leave it. I want all of us to be there. Gather yourselves together. Lift up your eyes to the hill. Where does our help come from? Our help comes from the Most High, the Maker of Ishamayam and earth. Hold on to the testimony. Lift up the testimony. Protect the testimony of the Lamb. Do you have the testimony? The blood and the testimony. By the blood and the testimony, we will overcome by the blood and the testimony. His blood and the testimony. By the blood and the testimony, we will overcome. Overcome.
Shalom, everyone. Hallelujah to the Most High Yah, who has shown us compassion and mercy, who loves us, who has called us by His name, who is worthy of the esteem and of all the honor and of all the praise. The name of today's message is Beware of Danger. They were never called, they were never chosen, and they were never appointed. This is a two-part message that I do have and want to share. And I'm hoping that we will be able to get to all of it today because we need to hear it all together. And I'm asking you, if you are willing and if you feel led, to remain until the very end, because it is very important and it is very urgent what it is that I have to say. Abba Yah, we come before you this evening. We give you thanks for the privilege you have given us to be alive, for the privilege you have given us to come together at this hour and this day. Father, thank you for your love, for your kindness, for your forgiveness that we find in you. Thank you for the hope that we have in you. Thank you for the provision that you have made for us, your children. Thank you, Father, that you never abandon and you never forsake us. And you constantly are calling us to repentance, to turn with our whole hearts, with our whole being, with all of our might, everything that is within us. Father, our lives are yours. We do not belong to ourselves. We did not make ourselves. So we just ask that you will prepare the hearts of those who are willing to hear. Let them hear. Prepare the hearts of those who are willing to change, who are willing to transform themselves, who are willing to humble themselves. And use me, Abba Yah. Let the words flow. Remove all spirit of fear from me, Abba. Remove all anxiety and put your confidence in me, Abba. May your name be esteemed and may your name be lifted high. Tudaraba, Abba, for your faithfulness, for who you are and what you've done. In the name and the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it, and be it so. This word that I bring is meant to offend. May every word spoken this day be as a two-edged sword, healing to those who revere Yah, and an offense and a rock of stumbling to the proud. Let it be so. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1 to 6. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and you shall say to them, When I bring the sword upon a land, and the people of the land shall take a man from their borders, and shall make him their watchman, and he sees the sword coming upon the land, and shall blow the ram's horn, and shall warn the people. Then whoever shall hear the sound of the ram's horn and shall not take warning, if the sword comes and takes him away, his blood is on his own head. He heard the sound of the ram's horn, but he did not take warning. His blood is on himself, but he who takes warning shall deliver his being. But if the watchman sees the sword coming, and shall not blow the ram's horn, and the people shall not be warned, and the sword comes and takes any being from among them, he is taken away in his wickedness, and his blood I require at the watchman's hand. And you, son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Yasharel, and you shall hear a word from my mouth, and you shall warn them for me. When the Ruach of Yahuwah comes upon me, I will speak all that he says. When the Ruach of Yahuwah comes upon me, I will speak all that he says. I will speak, I will speak, I will speak all that he says. So come near, children hear, come and hear all Yahweh says. When the Ruach of Yahuwah comes upon me, I will speak all Yahuwah says. When the Ruach of Yahuwah comes upon me, I will speak all Yahuwah says. I will speak, I will speak, I will speak all Yahweh says. So come near, children hear, come and hear all Yahweh says. I'm sounding the ram's horn. Judgment has not passed from the house of Yaakov, and the final round of judgment is still to come. Judgment has not passed from the house of Yaakov, and the final round of judgment is still to come. I will cover many points tonight, so I ask that you will listen and that you will remain until the very end. The first point that I will cover is that of the dry bones. Many of the so-called awakened Israelites today were never awakened and are not awakened by Yah. What do you mean by this? There's people all over the world saying that they're Israelites, that they came to know their heritage. But listen with attention. Listen to comprehend. Many of the so-called Israelites, or Yasharali, who say they are awakened, were never awakened by Yah. Many of the so-called dry bones were never dry bones in the first place. Yah said in Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 1 through 14, "The hand of Yahweh was upon me, and took me out by the Ruach of Yahweh, and put me down in the midst of the valley, and it was filled with bones. And he made me pass among them all around, and see there were many, very many on the surface of the valley, and see they were very dry. And he said to me, Son of man, would these bones live? And I said, O Adonai Yahweh, you know. Again he said to me, Not but to these bones, and you shall say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said the Adon Yahweh to these bones, See, I am bringing into you a spirit, and you shall live. And I shall put sinews on you, and bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put a spirit in you. And you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. And I Nabu, as I was commanded. And as I Nabu, there was a noise, and there was a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And I looked and saw sinews, and flesh came upon them, and skin covered them, but there was no spirit in them. He then said to me, Naba to the spirit, Naba, son of man, and you shall say to the spirit, Thus said the Adon Yahweh, Come from the four winds, O spirit, and breathe on these slain, so that they live. And I Nabu, as he commanded me, and the spirit came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, a very great army. Sorry, guys, just 1 second. A very great army. And he said to me, Son of man, these bones are all the house of Yasharal. See, they say, our bones are dry. Our expectancy has perished, and we ourselves have been cut off. Therefore, Naban, you shall say to them, Thus said the Adon Yahweh, See, O my people, I am opening your graves, and shall bring you up from your graves, and shall bring you into the land of Yasharel. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I open your graves, O my people, and bring you up from your graves. And I shall put my Ruach in you, and you shall live, and I shall settle you in your own land. And you shall know that I, Yahweh, have spoken, and I have done it, declares Yahweh. Ezekiel is not here today. So there is no man that walked up to any one of us and said, Shall these bones live? So if it was not Ezekiel who was sent to you, then who spoke to you to let you know who you were, who you are, who you say you are? Ezekiel is not here today, but in this vision that Ezekiel has, he said to the dry bones, Hear the words of Yah. How many of you can say that you heard Yah, that Yah woke you up, that Yah spoke to you, that Yah told you who you were? Joel chapter 2 verse 28 says, Yah says he would pour out his Ruach on all flesh, and they would prophesy, and they would have dreams and visions. Who is the one that stirs the waters? Who is the one that speaks in the night? Who is the one that calls the deaf, the mute, the blind? Who is the one, if not Yah? Who is the one that puts on sinews? Who is the one that breathes life into the dead bones? Who is the one that clothes them? Many of the so-called Israelites today were awakened by another man. This is a problem. Because Yah never sent no man to wake up another. Listen and understand. It's not to say that you can't shake somebody up. But if Yah doesn't want you to wake up, you will never wake up. Never. Not in a million years. Many of the so-called Yasharalis today were awakened by another man, but were they really awakened? Were they really stirred by Yah? Or were they stirred to cleave to an identity that was never theirs in the first place? It's very interesting because we're so excited about this awakening that we are going to every who and any who to let them know that they are part of Yah's covenant. I want you to listen to what I'm saying so you don't get the wrong idea, so you don't misinterpret, so you don't add or take away to what I'm saying. I just need you to understand and listen up to the message from beginning to end so you can fully comprehend. Some of us are just walking up to some people, saying, you know you're an Israelite, you know you're an Israelite. And instead of waking up a brother, you're waking up a sleeping beast, a beast that has no reverence for Yah. And this keeps Yah's wrath over us. Why are we such a stiff-necked people? Why do we constantly do what Yah has not told us to do? It is a big problem. It is a big problem in our midst. Do you think that the enemy is stupid? Do you think that the enemy is dumb? He has been waiting for you to wake up for a long time. He has been waiting for you to wake up for a long time. He knew you was going to sin against the Most High. He knew that you was going to rebel against the Most High. He knew that Yah does not renege on his word. Yah know, he knows. He knows that you were going to be a rebellious and a stiff-necked people, and that Yah was going to have to punish you and chastise you, but he also knew that Yah was going to wake up his dry bones. So he has been waiting for you to wake up for a long time. But as rebellious children, you remain blind and you remain naive. You don't understand your enemy. You don't understand how he works. You don't understand that he is watching you like he is stalking you. You don't understand that he is following behind you all the time. While you are over here memorizing Revelations chapter 2 verse 9 and Revelations chapter 3 verse 9, oh, he who says that he is a synagogue of Satan. So you're looking at the Rev 2 Niners like the people that are in the political state, but you got Rev 2 Niners and Rev 3 Niners in your midst. Naive children are you, where you can't see and you can't discern and you can't understand what the enemy has done, what your enemy is doing. You're focused at a people that the world, for the most part, know and understand are not of the seed of Jacob. So much so that you forget that you are allowing those who say they are Yasharal and are of not Yasharal, those who say that they are of Yah and are not of Yah, and you let them come and sit at the table with you because they look like you and you have diminished Yah's awakening to skin and bones. Yah didn't awaken a lot of the people because this is just the beginning. So you ignore Rev 2:9 and Rev 3:9 and you put it at these people in the political state. And you can't see them though because you awakened them. You're the one who awakened some of these people. You called them. Yah never called many of them. You called them. And because they look like you let them come all the more in. You say, I'm not like Esau. I'm not going to sell my birthright. Man, Esau was a fool. He sold his birthright for some stew. And you are selling your birthright for a shit and for a skin color. That's what you're doing. And if you don't know, well, now you know. You won't sell your birthright for some stew. And the devil knows that you're smarter than what Esau did, but you're not as smart as him. So you sell your birthright for a skin tone. How long will you be stiff-necked? How long will you be stiff-necked? You walk up to a people, you say, hey, my nigga, what's up, nigga? You the same as me. You'll understand this part later. You sold your birthright for a skin tone. And because they look like you're willing to sell your inheritance. You sold your birthright for resemblances, not for righteousness, not for Ruach. There are many of you who were never called by Yah, and you are latching on to this awakening because you have been clumped together by the other nations under a color of a skin reflection, a skin complexion, a skin orientation, a skin label. Now you've been stirred by emotions to say, I'm an Israelite too, because all of us black people have gone through something. All of us have endured something. So now it's not a covenant awakening. It's a skin color awakening. Some of you were never called. The one who wakes up is Yah. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you are one of the people who walked up to somebody who was a nigga, just like you, if you walked up to some random black person and said to them, hey, did you know you're an Israelite? You better repent right now, because Yah didn't send none of you to wake nobody up. Yah didn't send none of you. What you were supposed to do was to let people know who Yah told you were and who Yah is. It's not your job to wake nobody up or put nobody to sleep. That is not your job. It is not. And if you did it, you better repent, because that is sin, and that is taking on a place of position that the Most High Yah never gave to you. You better back down and sit down. Point 2. Many of you were called, but many of you were never chosen. Though you be of the seed of Yaakov, you will pass under the rod, and you will be wiped out. Now that's the message some people don't want to say. Some of us are getting up, walking around like we've already made it to the finish line. If you don't sit down and humble yourselves, you better thank Yah every day that he woke you up in the first place. Why boast in yourself? What is there that you have done to boast about? That you sinned against the Most High Yah? That you blasphemed his name? That you caused other nations to blaspheme his name? That you walked away from the priesthood? That you have done the abominable things? That you touched the unclean things? What you boasting about? What you bragging about? What are you bragging about? And many of us who are over here bragging and boasting, just remember, you were called only. You weren't chosen yet. You don't get chosen until you get to the end, when you have to stand before Yah and you have to give forth the testimony. And the one who verifies the testimony says this testimony is true. And the Father says you are chosen. You can come in. Some of you are not chosen. So sit down and stop walking as if you are. You are just called. That's it. Walk in the calling. Be deserving of the calling. Be deserving of the calling. Because you are only called by Yah's grace, not for your goodness. What have you done that was so good for Yah to look upon you and wake you up? Many of Yasharal will be passed under the rod. Many of Yasharal will be wiped away. Though you be of the seed of Yaakov, you will never be his if you miss the mark. Though you be of the seed of Yaakov, you will never be Yah's if you miss the mark and you are not chosen. Matthew 22, verse 14. Many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. 2nd Esdras 7:51. Listen to what this says. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I don't want to make you feel good either. I want to keep it very real, because while many people are over here preaching about, okay, we're going to be gathered, which is true. They're preaching about an exodus, which is true. What people need to also preach is that doctrine that lets you know that not all of you are going in. So you better stop holding on to that once saved, always saved because I'm a seed. Now it's not once saved, always saved because you believe in Jesus. It's once saved, always saved because you're a seed of Yaakov. It don't work like that. It does not work like that. 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 51 through 61. Because you have said that the righteous are few, while the wicked are many, hear the explanation for this. If you have only a few precious stones, would you add lead and clay to them? And I said, Adonai, how could this be? And he said to me, not only this, but ask the earth, and it shall tell you. Submit to it, and it shall declare it to you. And say it. You produce gold and silver and copper and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more plentiful than gold, and copper than silver, and iron than copper, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. So judge which is more precious and desirable, that which is plentiful or that which is rare. And I said, O Yahuwah who reigns, what is plentiful is of less value, for what is rare is more precious. And he answered me and said, consider within yourself what you have thought. For the one who has what is hard to obtain rejoices more than the one who has what is plentiful. So also be the judgment that I have promised. For I shall rejoice over the few who are saved, because it is they who shall have made my esteem prevail, and through my name has been esteemed. Only a remnant shall be saved. Do you know what a remnant is? I think a lot of us don't really understand what a remnant is. You ever had a bag of candy? You get to a bag of candy, you eat all the candy, and all you got is the sugar at the bottom? That's the remnant. When you have to take the bag, open your mouth, and throw that last piece of sugar inside your mouth, that's the remnant. It's the residue. It's the leftover crust. Only a remnant shall be saved. Do you know how small that is? Do you know how many people are boasting? But none of them will probably get in? Why do you boast and not tremble and humble yourselves to ensure that you are chosen? Why do you boast and not tremble and humble yourselves to ensure that you are chosen? Many of you are walking as if you are already chosen. So you talk whatever you want. You live however you want. You restrict others that Abba Yah has called. And you say he did not call them. But who's the one who stirs the waters? Who breathes life? Who calls to the mute, the deaf, the blind? If not Yah. How could they see if Yah did not remove the veil? So how can we stand and tell others that they are not called when Abba spoke to them in the secret place, and we act and live as if we are chosen already, as if we have some kind of authority already? That is dangerous. Woe to you, as it is said in Matthew chapter 18, verse 6. If anyone causes any of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him that a millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depth of the sea. Aren't you scared? Aren't you afraid? You who have been called, walk in the calling until you are chosen. Because you're not chosen yet. You've just been awakened. And some of you, Yah didn't wake you up in the first place. Some of you, literally, some of you, somebody just walked up to you and said, hey, you black? Yeah, I'm black. Hey, you know you're an Israelite? What? What? Who assigned you to go wake up people? I didn't know Yah needed help. Because last I checked in Ezekiel, who's the one that spoke the words? Last I checked, who's the one who breathed into the bones? Who put sinos on them? Was it not Yah? So how you gonna walk up to somebody and say, hey, you know you an Israelite? What you know about that? If Yah didn't tell you. So while you're over here focused on Rev 2 Niners, you're bringing Rev 2 Niners into your midst, and then you're walking as if you're chosen. Listen, you who have been called, walk in the calling until you are chosen. Otherwise, you have lifted up yourself and you are in great risk of danger. You are in risk of being dismissed. And Yah saying, I have never known you. So not only were many not called, many also were not chosen, but many also were never appointed. We got in this awakening now. A whole bunch of people just coming up out of nowhere. They're teachers, they're moras, they're mores, they're prophets. A lot of prophets. A lot of prophets. You know, they're Israelite whisperers. They're teachers. They know the scriptures, and they've only been awake for 2 years, 3 years. And the first year was them trying to figure things out. The second year was them trying to get in the rhythm of knowing the word. The third year is them trying to walk it out in salvation. But they're teachers now. What? If you don't sit down, they were never called. They were never chosen. And some of them were called, but Yah never appointed them. Never. There are so many so-called teachers, prophets, self-appointed watchmen out there. While many are saying that the Gentiles can't teach us, which I agree that in positions of teaching, it is Israelites that hold the priesthood, but not talking about that part now. I'm talking about now some person who likes to know, who loves knowledge, and all of a sudden they put themselves out there and they say, I'm a teacher, I will instruct, I will lead your sheep. Do you know how dangerous that is? Do you know how dangerous that is? Caution, caution, caution. Many have appointed over themselves teachers who have never been appointed by Yah. Better peep that. There are people who have been appointed that Yah himself never said, I will appoint. Be careful. Be very careful. They sound good. They teach good. They smell good. They eat all the good food, but they were never appointed, so it don't matter what they look like, what they sound like, how they talk like, how they walk like. It don't matter if they were never appointed. You are standing on dangerous ground. Yah does not appoint many. He appoints very few. Very few. So why are there so many tables to eat at? Why are there so many buffet tables to eat at? How was Shemuel appointed? How was Shemuel appointed? Does anybody remember? How was Shemuel or Samuel the prophet appointed? Was it Eli who appointed him? Who appointed Samuel? Was it not Yah who called out to him in the nighttime and said, Samuel, Samuel? And he said, yes. He got up to Eli, and Eli said, it was not I. Go back to sleep, boy. Goes back to sleep. Samuel, gets up. Yes, Eli was not me, boy. The next time you hear it, say, yes, here I am. Goes back to sleep. The boy answers and becomes a prophet. Who called you in the night? Or was it a man that looked at you and said, you're a prophet? Did you confirm with Yah that that's what you are? Did you confirm with Yah that you are a teacher? Did you confirm? Did he call you in the night? I don't know why some of us act like Yah doesn't talk anymore. Like he doesn't whisper anymore. That he doesn't speak to us anymore. For us to go and confirm with him. He still does it. He hasn't changed. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not change. Who appointed King David? Was it not Yah? When Samuel went to him, went to Jesse's house, he looked at all of the other brothers, and Yah spoke to Samuel and said, not him. Do not look at the outer appearance. I look at the matter of the heart. It is this young shepherd boy. Did Yah not appoint David? You think that was Samuel? Because he's the one who walked up to David? It was Yah who appointed him, and he was prophesied of long before he was even born. Who appointed Saul? Was it not Yah? Although he was a rebellious king, was it not Yah in the beginning? Did Yah not speak? Who spoke to Abraham? Was it not Yah who spoke to him in the land of Ur of the Kasdim, saying, Abraham, leave the land of your fathers? Was it not Yah who opened his mouth and spoke? Was it not Yah who reconfirmed his covenant with Isaac? Was it not Yah who spoke with Yaakov and changed his name audibly? So why is it that so many people are just getting up and they are, well, you know, I'm this, I'm that, when Yah never appointed you? Because he speaks. He speaks. He does speak. He will tell you. But many have appointed themselves. How was Moshe called? Did Yah not speak out of that fiery bush and spoke to Moshe? Yah spoke. And many of you never heard nothing. And you put yourself in a place of authority. And you put yourself in the place of leaders. in the place of teachers. You had a feeling. And that feeling you named Yah. You know how disrespectful that is? That you appoint yourself and then you say, I had a feeling that Yah said this. If you don't sit down and humble yourself and shut your mouth, you appointed yourself. And on top of that, what makes it worse? You're lying on Yah. That's a big sin. That's a crime. You better be 100% sure. You better be able to put your life on it that Yah called you, that Yah spoke to you, that Yah appointed you. Because if not, it's going to cost you your life. It's going to cost you much. You see, the problem is that there's not enough fear of Yah. There's not enough reverence of him. There's not enough respect for him. And that is why some people, many of us, can get up and walk around and so loosely say that Yah told me, that Yah said to me, that Yah appointed me, that Yah put me. It is so easy to say this without any fear and trembling. This is a problem. It is a problem. You better say, I have a feeling, than for you to say, Yah told me. Yah told me, because you lying on him. You are a liar. Whether you planned it or not, you are a liar. And you are deserving of a butt whipping. Because have some respect on Yah. Have some respect for him. That you don't so easily and loosely say, Yah said to me. For he is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. Y'all better stop. There are so many teachers out there just finding lessons, just anything, because we need content. Now, while Yah's awakening us, it's become a thing of content creators for Yasharal. You know how stupid that is? Do you know how stupid, how dumb that is? How wicked that is? How rebellious that is? How haughty that is? How arrogant that is? That you would take the awakening to make it a trend, to make it content for entertainment, or to make it seem as if you know much when you know nothing at all. And still there are many people being led to the slaughter. How many Israelites know that they probably will never see the promised land? Do you teach that? Do we teach that? How many of the people know that it is not a man that should walk up to them and let them know that they're an Israelite, but the breath of Yah that breathes into them and calls them out in the secret place? How many know that? How many know that though they have been called, they are not chosen, they never will be? How many know that? How many know that there is a tribulation coming and Yaakov will be caught by the sword too? How many know that? How many know that a household will be divided in two? How many know that? How many know that they need to hold on to the law and the covenant? How many know that there's going to be another Maccabean war? How many know that? But you got teachers over here sitting down talking about where Israel is not, while there are many people who still can't hold on to the milk of the covenant. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Somebody makes content, somebody else got to do a rebuttal on YouTube. Because somebody said this and somebody got to say, well, I'm not trying to say nothing about nobody, but this is the fact of the matter. Were you there in the beginning when y'all created all things? So you two are in competition against each other to call out one another. The stupidity that has taken place in Yashua because of self-appointed teachers self-called people and self-chosen people. Teaching the same kinds of doctrines again, but they're not saving souls. How many Yasharal is not on their belly every single day praying for the nation, praying for what's coming? How many of us can really say that we are crying blood, sweat, and tears every day saying, Abba, truly forgive us because we really did sin against us? Because when you know who you are and what you did to Yah, it hurts you. You can't just come on and make social media content. And you can't be a stumbling block to nobody. And you're not willing to sell the covenant for a skin color. I have a problem with that. Because I'm telling you, y'all have a problem with it. We go on teaching things that aren't concrete, but because we read a little here, we read a little there, we picked up a book here, we picked up a book there, we got some documents here, we got some documents there, now we know a lot, and you want to go and teach somebody, but whose soul are you saving? Who are you keeping from falling into the ditch? Who are you keeping from dying? Who are you keeping from the sword? Who are you bringing to Yah? We still got prosperity doctrine syndrome. It's not about money no more. It's about what makes you feel good. It's about your own ego. It's about your own greed. It's about your own identity and not about Yah's. Understand this. The teachers and the prophets of old reinforced the same messages every time. All the teachers that were righteous, all the prophets that were righteous, they all said the same thing. They all preached and emphasized the commandments of Yah, the covenant of Yah, and the restoration of fellowship with Yah. They all talked about the same thing. The commands of Yah, the covenant of Yah, the restoration of fellowship with Yah. Nothing more, nothing less. But we got over here, Yah's the one waking up the dry bones. But instead of us sitting down and reading the word of Yah and making sure we get past the milk and we can understand a lot of what Yah is saying, we're over here, oh, I can tell you exactly where Israel is. If you don't sit down, when Yah is ready to reveal it, he will. But until then, teach them about keeping the covenant. Even if your sermon is the same week after week after week after week after week after week, did not Noah speak the same thing for years? But we want content to keep people locked in. And you can't put your life on it. And if you can't put your life on it, then you have to be quiet. It's not necessary. It's not edifying. Self-appointed teachers look for what to teach. They look for what to preach. They look for what to share. But those who hear Yah, it gets downloaded into them. And they say what they don't want to say. They say what they're afraid to say. But they say it knowing that though they fear what they have to say, they fear Yah more. Because it will cost them to not speak it. You know how many people go online for watching hours of YouTube content of where the Israelites came from and proving that there is. We know already. Yah woke us up. We don't need you to do it. Yah woke us up. We know. Feed his sheep. We know. Feed his sheep because it's not us to wake up You've done your part already. Leave it there now. Feed his sheep the word of life, the manna of the Shamayam. Tell them about Messiah. Tell them about what he needs. We know Yah's the one who's rattled the bones. He's the one who breathed into them. You've done what Yah has told you to do. Now feed the sheep. Feed the sheep. Because there are a lot of so-called awakened Israelites, and they're still not fed. They're still skinny. They're still malnourished because they're looking for everything but the commands, the covenant, and restoration of fellowship with Yah. I'm not saying you can't put out research because that's different. But I'm talking about people who say that they were called by Yah to be teachers, and they're just looking for content to post. They don't want to preach the same things again and again because it makes the channels go down. It makes their views go down. It makes people not like them. But there's too many people that are liked out here. The people of Yah, they weren't really liked. The ones that Yah appointed. They were ostracized. They were ridiculed. They were hated. They were mocked. They were scoffed. They were killed. The only thing many of these self-appointed teachers and preachers are willing to be killed for is what they know. They're willing to die for what they know, not what Yah has told them. There are teachers on platforms teaching content, ignoring the fine matters. The reason we were led away captive in the first place, and turning our hearts back to Yah. So many people, so many platforms, teaching content and ignoring the things that save a man. The reason we were led away captive and making sure that we are strong when our hearts turn back to Yah, to never rebel against him again. And then those with rebellious hearts are still listening to these teachers who were never sent. Nothing is new under the sun. What once was will be again. And most of these self-appointed teachers and prophets are causing the hearts of Yasharel to go into deeper sin. That's what a lot of these people are doing. I don't want to hear that we were in the best in the world. We were the best. Like if a Hebrew does it, we're really good. Like there's no one who can rap like a Hebrew. There's no one who can dance like a Hebrew. Who cares? Until you turn your heart back to Yah fully, 100%, nobody should be bragging about nothing at all. At all. Because the reason we were led away captive in the first place was not because the nations hated us. It was because we despised Yah. So what you bragging about? We're the best at everything. We're the best at these nations hate us, and they're keeping us hostage in their land. But for why? But for what? But for why? For what? Because you despised Yah. Because we despised Yah. So until your heart is completely turned to Yah, and you are willing to die for Yah, and you are willing to die for the covenant, and you are willing to die for his commandments, and you are willing to die to preserve having your fellowship with him, then what are you bragging about? What? What you are doing, if you didn't know, is you are rousing Yah to wrath. I am telling you, you are rousing him to wrath. Because that is a mind of a child that does not understand what he has done. It is like a child that stole from his father who lived well with him in a home, A father who treated his child well, and this child goes in his father's storehouse and steals everything, and his father punishes him, and then his father has mercy on him and says, I will forgive you, I will bring you back. And then you start and say, yeah, Dad, I was a good son, right, Dad? Right? Punish these people for what they did because I was a good son. You was not a good son. You was a wicked son. That's why you were punished in the first place. So what are you bragging about? What are you boasting about? That out of Yah's goodness, he woke you up? Or that you're the best at everything? Taking no accountability. You see, it's very easy to do that. When you're caught up in the emotions of the things that's going on, it's easy for you to forget why certain things happen to us. But you have to always remember what you've done. Because when you remember, your heart posture changes. You won't take anything for granted. You will protect your ears. You'll protect your heart. You'll protect your mind. And you won't be led astray. But I will say to you, if you are rousing Yah to wrath, believe me, he will require blood on your hands. And for you self-appointed teachers, self-appointed pastors, self-appointed prophets, Yah will require the blood of these children on your hand. You have a very big responsibility. If Yah appointed you, you have a big responsibility. And if you appointed yourself, you have two problems now. One, that Yah never appointed you in the first place. And two, that you have led his sheep astray. So I will sound my shofar. I will say it again. If you appointed yourself, humble yourself and sit down. Humble yourself and sit down. Humble yourself and sit down. For Yah will require their blood on your hands. And those of you who are over here who are teachers, but you are teaching stupid, nonsense things that are leading people astray, you also have their blood on your hands. What you need to be teaching, the only thing you need to be teaching is command, covenant, and restoration of fellowship with Yah. That's it. And if Yah tells you to say something, be sure that he tells you it. Be able to put your life on it. Because if you can't, it will cost you much. If you can't put your life on it, it will cost you very much. Now, there are some people who are salvation stoppers. Okay, this part yesterday, for the past several days, it's just been me and Yah. And I came across a video that said that salvation is only for Yasharal. It is not for Gentiles at all. And I felt the indignation come up in me. My Ruach was heated. My chest was hot. It was hot. It was hot. Who appointed anybody as salvation stoppers? Self-appointed gatekeepers. You see, that's what I'm talking about with people who read the scriptures and they don't understand and they go out publicly and say to people that salvation is not for them, even if they believe in Yah, even if they trust in Yah, they have taken the covenant of Yahweh and turned it into shade, into a skin color. If it was that, then Yah would have chosen Laban. He would have chosen Ishmael. He would have chosen Canaan. He would have chosen anybody, because there were many blacks. But he chose one, not because he was black, but because of his faithfulness, his obedience, and because he stood out amongst the rest. He loved Yah. He honored Yah. He revered Yah. He sought out Yah. So don't bring the covenant to a color. Don't bring it to a shade. And there's people applauding this, applauding it. And a lot of these people teaching this stuff is not even Israelites. These are people you literally walked up to and said, hey, you a nigga? Yeah, I'm a nigga too. You're an Israelite. And then they ran with it. These are Rev 2 Niners, Rev 3 Niners. While you're focused on these people in the political state, you're not saying that there are Rev 2 Niners in your midst who call themselves Yasharel and are not Yasharel, who have chosen themselves. They were never chosen by Yah, have appointed themselves. They were never appointed by Yah, and you listen to them because they look like you. What is wrong with people? And you want to put a chain around people, let them drag it to death? And you are speaking with, you better speak with certainty that you can put your life on it. Put your life on it. If you can't put your life on it, shut your mouth. I'm telling you, shut your mouth. Because some of you are salvation stoppers. Some of you are unappointed gatekeepers. Some of you are murderers. You have blood on your hands because you're looking at somebody and you're saying to them, Yah never called you. But who stirs the waters? Who puts the sea nose? Who breathes life? Who calls to the deaf, the mute, the blind, the lame, if not Yah? He who dwelt in the secret place heard Yah speak to him. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. So many murderers, so much homicide. You do not teach things that you are 1000% certain of. You do not fear to say them out loud. Before you teach it and before you spread it, be sure that you can put your life on it. Because if you can't, then you are speaking on your own authority and your own understanding, and it will cost you much. It will cost you so much. It will cost you so much. It will cost you a lot. You have to be very careful, people. I don't think there's the fear of Yah like people think they got. So many people say they fear Yah, but they don't fear him like that for real. It's ridiculous how we can just speak, how we can just say what comes to mind. Please keep listening until the end, because I have a few warnings to give. Matthew 12, verse 36 through 38 says, and I say to you that for every idle word men speak, they shall give an account of it in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be declared righteous, and by your words you shall be declared unrighteous. Sorry, that's Matthew 12, verse 36 through 37. Again, and I say to you that for every idle word men speak, they shall give an account of it in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be declared righteous, and by your words you shall be declared unrighteous. If you are not afraid of this verse, if you are not afraid of this verse, then you don't believe Yah. If you are not shaking in your boots when you read this verse, you do not believe Yah. And if you don't believe him, you will never see his face. Now, this part I will say is, beware of the pen of the scribes. Beware of the pen of the scribes. And I'm asking everybody to please listen to this part. Please. The enemy was waiting for us to wake up. He knows the prophecies too. He knows the timeline. He was there before Adam and Eve, or Chava. And since the beginning, he has been setting booby traps for all mankind. You need to understand this. The enemy was waiting for us to wake up. He knows the prophecies too. He knows the timeline. He was there before Adam and Chava. And since the beginning, he was setting up booby traps for all of mankind, and especially Yasharal. Satan knows Yah's plan. And though Abba has warned us and said to us in 1 Peter chapter 5, let's go there. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, watch, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom to devour. You still are gullible. Even though the Most High Yah said to you, be sober. Be sober. You are still over here like goldfish bumping against the glass of a fish tank. It's crazy out here. You know how they say it be crazy out here in these streets? Do you know how many people don't think? Do you know how many people quote scripture, but it's only the quoting that does it for them? They don't go deeper than the quote itself? Like, it is crazy. It is crazy. Satan knows y'all's plan. And though Abba has warned us, still his sheep are gullible to it all. Listen to me. Listen to this part very carefully. Very, very carefully. The enemy diminished the covenant with a decoy. This, I really need you all to understand this. I don't need nobody to tell me anything other than this, because this is something that y'all showed me very clearly. And those who have ears to hear will hear. Those who have understanding will understand. Those who have knowledge and seek Yah will understand. Listen, the enemy diminished the covenant with a decoy. Listen, racism was not created because of white supremacy. Okay? That is not why racism was created. It was not created for white supremacy. If you can't understand this, then you really have not been awakened at all. Racism was created to keep Yasharal oppressed during their captivity, and it was created to keep them in idolatry during their awakening. Did you get that? It had nothing to do with whites being better than us. It was created to keep Yasharal oppressed during their captivity, and it was created to keep them in idolatry during their awakening. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. Racism was created to keep Yasharal oppressed during their captivity and in idolatry during their awakening. This is what you see today. Let he who has ears to hear, hear. You were purposely conditioned to believe the reason you were oppressed was because of your skin. That is kindergarten stuff. Okay? You were purposely conditioned to believe the reason you were oppressed was because of your skin. And they thought you looked like monkeys. So now it's like, oh, these people used to think we were monkeys. They hate us because we were black. No, honey boo boo. That is not why. That is not why. If you still think that, you are a fool. You are a fool. You were created to they created this to purposely condition you to believe that the reason you were oppressed was because of your skin. And they thought you looked like monkeys. And it worked. That's why the NAACP, Pan-Africanism, Black Panthers, etc. worked to reinforce this to us. It reinforced that it was about being black. 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 To keep you in mental bondage. You weren't sober. As long as you thought it was about being black, they could always control the narrative. Understand this. Understand this. As long as you think it's about being black, they will always control the narrative. That's kindergarten stuff. So every year, they create the same patterns to reaffirm the same sentiments. The same sentiments. Now that you have been truly awakened, you're still holding on to the same tool that they used to keep you in captivity, now to control the awakening. Now you're probably wondering, what do you mean by that? Okay. Every time some black person died on the street, you got angry because you identified with the color of their skin. You identified with the color of their skin. That is controlled emotional reaction. Every time a black person got killed on the street, you got mad. You didn't know if they was a Hamite. You didn't know if they were a Japhite. And you didn't know if they was a Shemite. You just got mad. Because they created the emotional attachment to skin color. And some of you are still attached to it. Still attached to it. Do you understand? They got Sandra Bland died. You got mad because she was black. Not because she was an Israelite. When Trayvon Martin died, you got mad because he was black. Not because he was an Israelite. When that other guy died with the knee on the neck, I forgot his name. You didn't get upset because he was black, because he was an Israelite. You got mad because he was black. And they do the same things to you again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So then you can be more loyal to the skin color than you are to the identity. George Floyd. Yes. Thank you, Amma. Thank you, K-Stack. Yes. So every time a black person died, it's on purpose that they kill them on purpose and they make it national news so then you can be attached to them dying because they are black. Do you understand? I'm trying to break it down for you because the veil is very thick over many people's eyes still, because there is a plan. I'm trying to get to the end so I can tell you what the plan is. That's why I'm talking about the called, the chosen, the self-appointed, and now this problem of race, because it's all tied in together. So now that you've been attached to the skin color as opposed to the heritage, as opposed to the bloodline, as opposed to the covenant, now that you are awakened, all you can see is skin color. Because the enemy knew that you was going to wake up, and he wants us to remain in rebellion against the Most High. I'm trying to make sure that you can see this so you don't be led astray to worshiping the golden calf. I'm trying to make sure that you understand so you're not caught up in what is going on. I'm trying to make sure you understand so you don't become a murderer against your own. So, what am I trying to say with all of this? The enemy knew you was going to wake up. He had you attached to skin color. These niggers, these black people, these monkeys, these niggas, these coons. They reinforce the same thing. Same thing. Now in your mind, it's all about being black. Now I'm going to leave this here for a second. Beware of the pin of the scribes, right? I said that before. Beware of the pin of the scribes. The enemy knew you was going to wake up. So what he has done is, if, for example, they created, the enemy came in, took words away from the Bible, put stories, removed verses out of the Bible, and all other scriptures, took certain books and hid them from us. What do you think the enemy is going to use to deceive us? If he took the word away from us, hid the word from us, blotted out Yah's name and hid it from us, what do you think he is going to do? Somebody just say in the chat. Ask Yah to give you wisdom. If he took the word away from Yah, from us, if he hid Yah's name from us, if he took scriptures away from us so that we would never wake up, when we do wake up, what do you think he is going to do? What do you think he's going to do? He's going to have things ready for us for when we're ready to read. Replacement. He's going to add extra things. He's going to add extra things. So beware of the pin of the scribes. So now they've added, oh, Father, Abba Yah, give me the words, Abba Yah. Give me the words, Father. So now, because you're so attached to your identity, when you read the word, you're not going to read it through a Hebrew lens. You're going to read it through a black lens. You're going to read it through black skin. So now you're going to see things like extra books that they've added. And instead of having discernment and being able to read the lines, take out the bad and leave the good, we take it all as bad. All as good. And we use it all to defend the same narrative of black skin. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Do you understand? They took the word away from us. The enemy did. So then when he had it ready, he brought the books back And not all the books that came back are scripture. And a lot of the books that came back are scripture. But he added extra verses, extra chapters, extra lines, extra everything. So now when you read it, it gives you more information to keep you in idolatry and rebellion. Beware of the pen of the scribes. Why do you think that Abba Yah said in Revelation, the last chapter, to beware of the pen of the scribes? If anyone adds or takes away, let him be accursed. We know that they took away. Why don't we think they will add to control the narrative? And the narrative that they're using reinforces idolatry and rebellion. That is why a whole bunch of people are going to books and taking it as if it is scripture, and it reinforces what the enemy wanted for us in the first place, to control the awakening. Beware of the pen of the scribes. Some of you like to read too much. Some of you are reading too much of everything. Some of you are not examining things. Some of you are not testing things. Some of you are still indoctrinated by the scheme of the enemy that you can't see what he's doing. And it's in preparation for a greater and much darker plan. Beware of the pen of the scribes. Now we got people saying that white people come from aliens. What? White people came from the Nephilim. What? So all white people are fallen angel seed? What? Because why? The enemy has made it a thing again about skin. But it's not for skin. It's to keep us constantly in rebellion or in idolatry. Now listen to this. We're going to go back to what I was talking about, being conditioned. Every year, they create the same patterns to reaffirm the same sentiments. Now, you who have been truly awakened are still holding on to the tools of the enemy created as a tool to control every part of this awakening. So now, instead of you saying they won't treat us as equals because we are black, now what you are saying is we are children of the Most High Yah because we are black. Do you understand what I'm saying? Diminishing the covenant by the tools of the enemy. Now, instead of you saying they won't treat us as equals because we are black, now you are saying we are children of the Most High because we are black. Still the enemy's tactic. That is stupid logic. I'm going to just say it right now. That is stupid. Stupid logic, and you are diminishing the covenant. Yah be witness this day that I am withholding nothing. I am withholding nothing. Listen, if this were the case, Yah would have made a covenant with one of the descendants of Ham. He would have made it with Laban, Ishmael, because they were black too. This tool of oppression the enemy has created that you are so tightly holding on to has caused you to build a golden calf. This brings me back to many have awakened, and many who claim to have been awakened were never awakened by Yah. They were never called. Somebody walked up to them and say, "Hey, nigga, yeah, nigga, Israelite." That's what happened with a lot of people. You're a nigga, I'm a nigga, we're Israelites. You're brown, I'm brown, we're Israelites. Not knowing that you brought in a Rev 2-9er. Not knowing that you brought in a beast. Not knowing that you brought in somebody that will kick you out and lead you astray. Many have chosen themselves. Many have been called, many have not been called, and they assigned themselves. Many of you went out and told somebody that they were a people they were not because you diminished the covenant, and you're doing the exact same thing that Esau did, sold your birthright for some soup, and you sold your birthright for niggerhood. And now, because of niggerhood too, you also assign your leaders, and they're not of you, and they're not for Yah, and you allow them to govern you because of niggerhood. And you allow people to be appointed over you, to teach nonsense over you because of niggerhood. Some of them, they teach what is true while teaching things that they ought not to, when y'all did not appoint them to speak such things. But because you're loyal to the niggerhood, you tolerate it. And because, you know, somebody looks like you appoint them over you just because. And what you have done is built a golden calf. And the earth will be opened up to you and you will be swallowed whole. This tool is working so much in Hashatan's favor, it has made many murderers. It has awakened many beasts. It has awakened many murderers. It has awakened many homicidal criminals. It has put teachers on there that stir the hearts of people to rebellion, greater rebellion against Yah, because of the golden calf. There is great danger because many were never called, they were never chosen, they were never appointed, and they have taken the covenant of Yah and diminished it to skin. Yasharal, you are supposed to be a priest to the nations, not a burial ground. And the enemy is doing that with you. The enemy has infiltrated, and there are very few with discernment. There are very few with understanding. There are very few with knowledge. There are very few who can see what the enemy is doing. You're allowing too many people in, and you are preventing the right ones from coming in. You are allowing too many to come in, and you're keeping many out. And you can't see what the enemy is planning with you, because Yah didn't call many. You as an individual did. Yah didn't choose many. You as an individual chose them. Yah didn't appoint many. You as an individual appointed them over you. And those who were appointed, a lot of them are not saying what Yah says, and it's just content. And the covenant is being tainted by the biggest tool of the enemy, which is the skin color. That's the golden calf. There is one that gives life, and there is one that takes it away. Who has appointed any of you judge over the sacred things of Yah? When it is time and the day of Yahuwah, many will understand. Yah has his way, and no one knows the fullness of Yah's heart. Did Yah not make a covenant with the Rechabites, which were Kenites, which were Midianites? So who are you to determine whom Yah will save and whom Yah will not save? And who are you to call and choose and appoint anybody? And who are you to determine the origin and the will of Yah, or to whom the covenant belongs? The same way there were remnants of Yasharal that never blasphemed Yah, that never blasphemed the way, that never blasphemed the covenant, like the whole nation of Yasharal did, and Yah spared their lineage, is the same way there are people from other nations that have turned to Yah and did not do according to the way of their fathers, and Yah has made provision for them. Our Alua is no fool. Your hearts are being tested, and many of you are failing it. He will not reveal all his plans to you because you might boast in yourself. I said it already. Beware of the pen of the scribes. Hashatan has been waiting for you for a long time. He's been working and planning for a long time. The enemy knows that the truth of our awakening is in the word. Where do you think that he will also hide deception? In the word. Revelations 22 verse 18 through 19. Revelations 22 verse 18 through 19. What does it say? For I witness to everyone hearing the words of the Nebuah of this book. If anyone adds to them, Yahuwah shall add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of this book of this Nebuah, Yahuwah shall take away his part from the book of Chai and out of the Kodesh city which are written in this book. So you thought that Hashatan just removed Yah's word, removed Yah's name, so you wouldn't know his name, and that's where he stopped. If Abba put a warning, what makes you think the enemy will only remove and not add? The enemy also knows that when you awoke, the first thing you would do would be to go to the word. So he prepared a booby trap for many of you. So he added words, he added stories to control the awakening. Beware of the pen of the scribes. Beware of the pen of the scribes. There is danger afoot. Read with discernment and understand your enemy. The goal, never let you see your past, so you will never fulfill Yah's will. Don't earn your place again. He does not want you to be righteous. He doesn't want you to earn your place. He doesn't want you to gain your inheritance. He doesn't want it. So what you have to do is to change gear, reset your focus. Because if you are so gullible this early in this stage of the awakening, then it will only get worse. May everyone who hears these words examine themselves and make them necessary for adjustment. I'm going to say this to you. If Yah himself did not confirm to you that you are blood Yasharal, repent. And you're over here saying, I'm a Yasharali. That's the calling part. If Yah himself did not confirm to you that you are a blood Yasharal, somebody literally walked up to you and said, you know you're an Israelite? You better take that to the secret place. And if you are somebody who Yah told you was an Israelite, who Yah said you are an Israelite, ask Yah to forgive you for speaking to the wrong people if you were. Now, I'm not talking about family. If you got a brother, you got a sister, that's different. But if you're just walking up to random people, just literal random people, and you're telling you're an Israelite, those people were never called. Yah has to call who he will call, and then those who will cleave will cleave. Yah will do that. That's Yah's job. Yah's job. Your job is to be a good and faithful witness. Your job is to call no one. Your job is to choose no one. Your job is to appoint no one. If it was a person who told you, but Yah did not tell you himself by dream, vision, or still small voice, sit down. Just cleave to his people. Cleave to his promise. They are for you too if you love Yah. Because if you are not cleaving to Yah, and if you're not humbling yourself, then you have become a synagogue of Satan. That's just what it is. You who have been awakened, your job is not to tell anyone who they are unless Yah specifically tells you. Because some of you are just too trigger happy. It's not even trigger happy. Some of you are too nigga happy. That's what it is. Some of you are too happy that you weren't somebody. Now you're somebody and you're going to everybody and you're just telling them who they are, who they're not. You're little nigga happy, trigger happy. And you're diminishing Yah's promises. And you are calling people, you are choosing people, and you are appointing people that Yah never told you. And it's all based off of skin tone. And that's what it is. You lifting up a golden calf. Restricting others. Hindering others. Because you're so focused on that golden calf. You've been so conditioned to think that your identity is about being black that you forget that it was about the covenant. Now that you're awakened, you think the reason you're an Israelite is because you are black, as opposed to Yah choosing you because you're a seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Your job is to tell the world who Yah is, not who they are. Okay? Your job is to tell the people who Yah is, not who they are. And your job is to show people what Yah requires of you. That's the only thing you're supposed to do. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Your only job is to tell the world who Yah is and show them what Yah requires of you. Your job is not to tell nobody who they are. Because Yah is the one who calls. Your job is not to tell nobody who they are. Because it is Yah who chooses. It is not you who to tell anybody who they are. That is Yah's job because it is He who appoints. And those of you who have appointed yourselves as teachers, as chosen ones, and as called ones, better sit down. If you are called, make sure you don't tell somebody else that they were. Because you are taking Yah's job. Because Yah is the one who stirs the waters. Yah is the one who breathes life into them. Yah is the one who calls the lame, the mute, the blind, the deaf. Yah is the one, not you. Not you. So stop. If you were called, make sure you don't go tell somebody else that they were. Because you are calling Yah a liar because Yah probably told them they were not. And if somebody has been called by Yah, you don't tell them that they were not because Yah told them that they were. Make sure you don't keep nobody away from Yah. That is not your job. That is you talking. That is you taking vengeance. That is you being vindictive, which makes you a thief. You're robbing Yah. Because Yah says in Romans chapter 3, chapter 12, verse 19, vengeance is mine. I shall repay. You don't need to do nothing. You don't need to say nothing to nobody. Vengeance is Yah's. Vengeance is mine, he said. I shall repay. If Yah has not appointed you and you are assigning people or assigning yourself a position of teacher, prophet, it is best that you sit down. And if somebody else comes up to you and says to you, you're a prophet, tell them to sit down, run away, run as fast as you can. Because Yah calls his prophets. They know who they are. The reputation will follow them. And the anointing will follow them too. You don't need nobody to tell you who you are. Yah doesn't need help. He doesn't need no help. Everybody likes to say, y'all told me, or I felt y'all say this, or I felt y'all say that, or I was led to do this, or y'all led me to do that. Be careful, because sometimes you're lying. He didn't tell you nothing. What you felt was your spidey senses. What you felt was that burger you ate last night. What you felt was that video you watched yesterday. What you felt was that man who spoke to you in your ear, and you was having a conversation by yourself, and you were stirred up by emotion, and you got up and did something and said, y'all did it. Y'all didn't let me sleep last night until I got up and did that. That was you. That was you. Stop lying on him. That was your spidey senses. That was not Yah. The sheep Yah know Yah's voice. Yah's sheep knows his voice. And the reputation will proceed. Stop being a flip a Bible page and the first verse your eyes fall on, the first verse your eyes see, that's the answer that Yah has given to. Stop doing that. Make sure you graduate from kindergarten to Yah's university, because these things have to go. We go to these teachers that weren't appointed by Yah for answers. We go to Google searches that was created by man. We go to ChatGPT for answers. We go to YouTube channels when we can't find the answer that we want, so that we can find the answers that make sense to us. But the sheep of Yah hear his voice and they follow after him. Now, I've gotten to the point where I've shared what I needed to say. I need to tell you why I had to say all of these things. And it's very important that you understand why. Judgment is right at the door. A lot of you already know this. But Yah's judgment is really right at the door. There is a partition taking place, a great divide. It is a great divide that is taking place. I'm going to tell you what the Most High Yah has been showing me. And if you want to hear it, you hear it. If you don't, then don't. But if you hear it, bring it before Yah and ask God to show you, to confirm it with you. There is a partition that is taking place. The enemy needs to conquer. The reason why I had to bring in this word, they were never called, they were never chosen, they were never appointed, is because there is a division that is taking place in the world, but there is a division that is taking place in Yasharal. And if you don't have eyes to see, then you won't see. And if you don't have ears to hear, you won't hear. People don't want to understand this. The reason why I'm so adamant about making sure that we're not calling people and saying they're Israelites because they're black, and making sure that we're not choosing people just because they're one of us, or walking as if we're chosen and appointing people, is because there is a division that is going to take place, and it is going to hit Yasharal too, and it has already begun. The first thing I need everybody to understand, whether you believe it or not, it don't matter to me. It doesn't make no difference. Yasharal, we have mixed with every single nation. We have. That's just what it is. There are dark-skinned Yasharalis. There are light-skinned Yasharalis. There are pale-skinned Yasharalis, because we have mixed. We know Yasharal is black, but we have mixed with white people. We have mixed with darker-skinned people. And we have mixed with other Shemites that were not Israelites. And what's going on now is because many people are falling and holding on to this golden calf of diminishing the covenant to a skin color, they won't be able to see what the enemy is doing. We are calling people who are not Yasharal, Yasharal. And we are calling people who are Yasharal and telling them that they can never be Yasharal. And then we are calling those who want to cleave to Yasharal, and we're saying to them they can never cleave to us. Because salvation is for us alone. So now we already have a partition. We already have a division in 4. We have 4 divisions. But it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and narrow and more narrow and more narrow. If anybody knows anything about fractions, like if you have 16 over 16, you divide it by 2, you get 8 over 8, right? Then you get 8 over 8, then you divide it by 2, you get 4 over 4. You divide that, then you get 2 over 2. You divide that, then it's already in its simple form. Then you get decimals. That is what the enemy is doing because he needs to conquer. I really need you to understand this part. So while we're over here saying that we will love Yasharal, we will only love one another, you're really not. Because the enemy has purposely prepared for this time in history. The only way he can conquer is through division. And if there is division, then there is no trust. There is no confidence in one another. There is no peace. There is no stability. The enemy divides. Yahuwah multiplies. You have to understand this. Yah multiplies. He increases through multiplication. Hasatan, he increases through division. Please understand what I'm saying to you. That is what he is doing. He is dividing. He has infiltrated the awakening, made it a golden calf, the skin color, diminished the covenant to skin. So now what is going on is, for Yah, remember, Yah's judgment is coming on the whole nation, on the whole world. But his judgment will begin in Yasharal. The scriptures say that the second seal is Yah taking peace away from the earth. And if Yah takes away peace away from the earth, who do you think will also be part of this? Yasharal. Only those who know Yah will be able to understand the times. Only those who know the word, who have their Ruach, who have knowledge, who have wisdom, who are able to discern the times, will be able to understand why this is going on in the body of Yasharal while it is going on in the rest of the world at the same time. I hope I'm keeping you. I have your attention. So what the enemy has done is he has placed a stumbling block. Because as long as there is a stumbling block and a statue in Yasharal, we will remain in rebellion. I'm going to share a dream with you that the Most High Yah has shared. Listen to this dream. And if you have understanding, you will understand what this dream is saying. There was a visitor coming. There was a wealthy man and a woman who owned a plantation. And in his yard was a very big brown dog. It was a strong brown dog, no other of its kind. The dog was bound to heavy chains around its neck. And a visitor came and left the door of the gate open. The dog saw that it was able to escape, that the door was open. So the dog fought and kept on trying to run out so much so that the chain broke. The dog broke away from the chain and ran away. He reproduced with different breeds of dogs. The owner, and he had many children. The owner found him and brought him back and chained him up again. The dogs that the brown dog created with the other dogs grew older and could smell their father's presence in the plantation, in the yard. So they followed the scent to the house. The owner of the plantation saw the many dogs and knew that they were the seed of their dog. And they said, these dogs are trying to break into our house and rob us. They closed the gate of their dog, and the other dogs who wanted to come in could not. Here's a second dream. There was a visitor coming, and they said they would be arriving, so I walked a mile to the gate. It was day when I began walking, and suddenly a thick and heavy darkness came. I turned the flashlight on, and before appeared a mother bear and her two cubs. I began to back away slowly. I came back to the house, and there was a black girl running. She ran into her mother's arms, and when I looked, I seen another black woman running after her with a gun. When she looked at me, she became afraid and retreated. And here's the third dream. I seen a great division. Even the skies were divided in two. Half of the sky was blue and clear. The other half of the sky was gray. The countries were divided. One country was divided in two. And in that country, the cities were divided in two. And in the city, the towns were divided in two. And in the towns, the neighborhoods were divided in two. And in the neighborhoods, the houses were divided in two. And in the houses, the peoples were divided in twos. And they were fighting against one another. Two sets of men fighting against another set of men. Two sets of men with locks fighting against two sets of men without locks. Two light-skinned men fighting against two dark-skinned men. And everyone thought each man was his enemy. So these are three separate dreams. This is division. This is divide and conquer. This is the verse where you see that the enemy of a man's household, of a man, will be his own household. This was not talking only about Yahusha or the sake of the Betsora. This was talking about the plan of the enemy. Divide and conquer them. If you can divide them, then you can overcome them. You're not out of this awakening yet. This is just the beginning. The enemy wants to conquer you. If only a remnant is going to be saved, and Yah has awakened many, he will not allow you to go that easy. Peace is being taken away from the earth, and you will be divided, forgetting seed and looking at skin. You will be divided. Instead of looking at religion, instead of looking at Yah, you'll be looking at religion. So the rest of the world, the other nations, they will divide against religion. Judaism against Islam. Christianity, Pentecostal against Methodist. And then in Yasharal, they will divide against who is seed, who is not seed. Who can cleave, who cannot cleave. Who is of Yah and who is not of Yah. Instead of trusting in Yah and abiding in Yah, Yasharal will be divided too. Because they do not see, and because of the golden calf. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. I hope what I'm saying is clear. In the dream of the dog, that dog is Yaakov. That is Yasharal. The chains around that dog was the captivity. The dog broke free from the chain. When it was loose, it was free. It reproduced with many. Now his seed came back to him, smelt where he was. And the owner of the household of the plantation did not want those seeds to come in. The dogs all looked different. but they were the seed of that dog. And they said, we will say that they are trying to rob us to keep them away. Don't be deceived by the enemy. I can tell you right now, in the country that I come from Quisqueya. If you know the history of the Dominican Republic, how they made brother turn against brother under Trujillo. They had people say look-alike. Two black men look alike. And you say a word, say perejil. And somebody couldn't say perejil, they said perejil. And they killed them because they couldn't say the word. And then there were others who were light-skinned, but they were still Haitian. And they let them live because they didn't look like the average Israelite, like the average Haitian. So they let them live, but the one that looked like the original, they killed them. But what's going on in the body is we're doing the same thing as in the days of Trujillo, where the enemy wants us to turn against one another. The enemy wants us to divide against one another so that he can conquer us. Be careful that you do not get deceived by the enemy, because peace is being taken away from the earth. People from your own household will turn against you. You're not making it to the wilderness yet. You're not going yet. You're not going tomorrow. You're not going today. You're not going yet. Peace has to be taken away from the earth. And brother will turn against brother. Will you pass that test? And as of right now, many are not passing it, because they have taken on upon themselves who is called, who is chosen, and who has been appointed. They are determining that on their own. And they are idolizing that golden calf, which is their skin color. I hope you can see the division that's taking place. I hope you can understand what's going on. Don't call nobody. Don't choose nobody. Don't appoint nobody. That's Yah's job. Don't be a stumbling block for nobody. Destroy that golden calf in your midst. Don't tell nobody they can't be saved. Don't tell nobody that they are not. And don't tell nobody that they are. Because you don't know how Yah spoke to somebody in the secret place, and you are waging a war directly against Yah. There is judgment coming. And most of Yasharal will fall by the sword. And most of Yasharal will not be saved. And most of Yasharal will not make it to no wilderness. Because this was just a pop test and many did not pass it. Many will not pass it. Jacob spread his seed everywhere. So there is a great division coming. Put away your idolatry. Stop listening to non-appointed teachers. And these non-appointed teachers need to sit down. These non-chosen need to sit down. And these non-called need to sit down and repent. And those who are called need to walk in that calling and make sure that they are chosen. And make sure that they are appointed. Prepare yourselves for the days ahead, because you will not be able to trust many. There is a great partition coming, and the enemy is cunning. He has infiltrated the awakening because he's been waiting for you for a very long time. And many are already deceived because of the golden calf. So it was a lot. I hope I didn't confuse nobody, because it was a lot. I hope I didn't speak too much, and the first part kind of didn't tie into the front, but it really all ties in together. The beginning and the end. It's all so important. And this is the last part. I just want to read this letter from Ak, and we will close here. Message from Anak. Shalom to all. This is a message that is repeated consistently in this gathering, and the reason is plain. This truth is where the multitudes will be led astray to the slaughter. And just as in the day of Ezekiel, one clearly called and sent to be a watchman, commanded to continually give the warning to turn, this same mandate rests on what is done in ministry. The hard truth is that this is the part about the Great Awakening that is missed and misunderstood by too many people. It's the how. The world being led by the Prince of Darkness has established the facade that one can simply be awakened by another. Remember, this is what we said in the beginning. Nobody can wake you up. If somebody came up to you and said, hey, you know you're an Israelite? Don't believe them. Make sure that y'all's the one who's telling you. Because some of us are trigger happy. Some of us are nigga happy. We're going to everybody saying, hey, nigga, Israelite. Don't do it. Because y'all's the one who awakens, and he will choose who he is awakening. Yet we see laden all through history that no such thing has happened. There were none appointed to simply have the ability to raise one up who was asleep to the truth about their calling. Those who heard the truth about being called and chosen always came after hearing, after seeing, and after experiencing the Shamayam. Today, many have a counterfeit awakening. Many have a counterfeit appointment. Some were never appointed by Yah. Some were never chosen by Yah. And some were never called by Yah. Why? The order of revival being reborn or restoration is not consistent with what is shown throughout the world. Literally, self-appointed people are on YouTube telling people, all of you niggas are Israelites. All of you niggas, and they're only niggas. We never mix with nobody. It's people on YouTube saying, oh, that is crazy. They're starting the revival. They're awakening the dry bones. They are restoring the nation. When Yah said he would do it. In these greatly deceptive last days, the wicked, dressed up in sheep's attire, Shabbat, they keep the Feast of Weeks, they keep the Feast of Boots, they celebrate Passover and all other celebrations wearing tassels, even fringes. They are going about telling others that resemble them that they are of the chosen seed. And the people, excited that they are actually not just a nigger or a nigga, take to the streets, social media, and the loved ones to share the good news. Did you know we're an Israelite? Did you know we're an Israelite? Did you know we're an Israelite? When Yah never said. And those who are, they say that they are not. They have become gatekeepers for Yah, telling those that Yah spoke to in the secret place that they could never be. And those who never heard of Yah in the first place, they tell them that they are. And they claim that they are now awakened. But have they truly been awakened or stirred by emotion? The reality is that many are truly flared up by the feeling of being somebody. They want to be somebody. They want to be something other than being less than. They want to be somebody instead of a black skin, instead of a Negro, instead of an African. So they cleave and they hold on to the awakening and they make it nothing but skin color, diminishing Yah's awakening to a shade, diminishing Yah's awakening to a physical appearance. And because the affections of the person have been moved absent of the effects that inevitably come from a true rousing from above, vital lies go unseen or ignored. So if the majestic one, by his own will and ability, placed a sleep on the people he chose, do you think he was going to simply awaken them by works and words of man who became his enemy? If y'all made us fall asleep, if y'all made us forget our heritage, if y'all is the one who made us forget our language, where we came from, do you think he's going to wake us up by sending somebody to say, hey, since you're black, you know you're an Israelite? You think you're an Israelite? You know you're an Israelite because you're a nigga? Forget the covenant. It's all about what you look like. You a nigga, I'm a nigga, we're both Israelites. Absolutely not. The truth is that in the last days it must be consistent with Yah's word. Yahuwah will pour out his breath on all flesh, that the sons of Jacob would receive dreams and visions and foretelling of what is to come. Joel chapter 2 verse 28. The purpose has never changed. It is so that his people are not left at the mercy of the enemies. Those of you who truly have been awakened by Yah in the secret place, you will not diminish the covenant to what you look like or what your brother looks like, but you will hold on to it and you will lift it high and you will know your Alua and you will understand the times. Because Yah spoke to you in the secret place. And he said to you in the secret place, remember who you are. Nobody told you who you was. Nobody told you who you was. So nobody can take it away from you. And his word has become true in your life. You were awakened by the stirring of the Ruach. It is his people who know him, who will not hold on to the tool of the enemy to make an idol or misinterpret the awakening, or take the void counsel of the nations. Yah did not leave our awakening at the hands of translations or transliterations or YouTube channels or videos. Yah said he would stir us to awaken. Not somebody on YouTube. His Ruach stirs us. His Ruach awakens us. His Ruach calls us. His Ruach chooses us. His Ruach appoints us. These messages come from Yah. Why is this so important in these times? A great awakening was given that many are being conditioned to ignore. So if they say to you, look, he is in the desert, do not go. Or look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. Many of you who are holding on to this idol, who are holding on to making sure that every Israelite is a dark-skinned nigga, or to making sure that you are the only ones who are called, you were the only ones who are chosen, you were the only ones who are appointed, you're the first ones that are going to run to a fake wilderness. You're the first ones that's going to run to a fake Mashiach, and you're the ones who's going to run to a fake regathering. Because you don't understand the time. You don't understand the division. You don't understand the conquering. When you are asleep, in deep sleep, that you did not put yourself in, meaning someone knocked you out, The world can turn upside down all around you and you never even notice. You cannot be triggered, nor can you respond unless it is meant for you to wake up. Something you cannot control. And the only way this happens is if it is granted by the one who gives you breath, or else you die. Those of you who heard from Yah, that was the true awakening. I'm telling you right now, I am not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm not trying to keep you in or out. Because if you're not of the stock of Jacob, you can still cleave. You can cleave. But what I'm trying to say, though, is if you have really been awakened by Yah, then Yah would have breathed into you. And if Yah breathes into you, His life is in you. You will have His attributes, and you will understand the finer things. Because we're not awakened to further rebellion and stiff-neckedness. We are awakened to righteousness. What we are witnessing today in Yasharal is the remnant that has been awakened. Many have been awakened, but only the remnant is living. Many have been awakened, but only the remnant is living. The rest are walking dead, moving in life, but unalive to the live. They are comfortable in death, even dressed in sheep's attire. And there are only two ways they can live this way. They never truly awakened, or they were and they did not like what they saw, so they chose to keep their eyes shut wide. Either way, oh, I lost the page. 1 second. Either way, when the fake redeemer appears, because they spent so much time running to the field instead of the inner room, and not to their knees and fasting and palal, they will be fully prepared to receive the lawless one. Is it you? Is that going to be you? Remember, don't follow everybody, because not all were called, not all were chosen, not all were appointed, and not all are black-skinned. Not all your friends are black-skinned either. Remember, there is a division that is going to take place. It has already entered into the house of Yasharal. It's here. This is what we see being played out right now. The armies are being placed everywhere. Even the Shamayam is going to be divided. Judgment is at the door. Yasharal will turn against Yasharal, and they will not know they're turning against their own brother. You think the enemy's gonna make it that easy for you to love your neighbor? You think the enemy's gonna make it that easy for you to follow Yah? You think the enemy's gonna make it that easy for you to serve Yah's and His will? He's smarter than many of you. You haven't studied your enemy enough. He's been waiting for many to wake up for a long time. He's been waiting for us to wake up for a long time. And now we're awakened. Many are falling for the booby traps, and they can't see. But those who know their Eluah, they will follow the narrow path, the path that is dry, the path that is clean, the path that will lead them away from destruction. and save their souls. So I've said what the Most High Yah wanted me to say. I'm guiltless of any blood. If it offends anybody, it's supposed to. It's supposed to offend you to repentance, or it will offend you to death. You choose. That's not my choice. That's yours. Abba Yah, be esteemed. Be ready for the destruction that's coming. Judgment is coming to Yasharal. Because it's coming to all the nations. No one will be spared. Except for those who know Yahuwah, their Ruach, and they understand the times and they're able to discern. Abba Yah, we come before you. Pour out your Ruach on your sons and daughters, Father. Let those who understand the times yield to you. Let those who understand the times humble themselves, Father. You have not called us to have zeal for unrighteous matters. You have not called us to have zeal for something that seems righteous, but in essence, it is wicked. It is abominable to you. Father, I ask that you will forgive our nation for calling people that you never called, for choosing people you never chose, for appointing people you never appointed. Forgive them, Abba, for lying on you and saying Yahuwah told me when you didn't say nothing, Abba. Saying Abba said when you said not, you did not say. But woe to these false prophets and woe to these false teachers who say they have dreams and are saying lies, who are saying that there is safety when there is judgment and calamity coming, who see danger coming, who start off conversations that will lead the sheep to death. Abba, for your word says that every idle word we speak, we must give an account, Father. And these people are stumbling blocks, creating content up off of the awakening and stirring the hearts of your people to rebel against you and to rebel against one another. These self-appointed teachers, self-appointed prophets, self-appointed scholars, reading every book, reading any book, and telling people, thus saith Yahuwah, when Yahuwah said it not. I will deal with these people. Help your people to see the Rev 2-9ers. Because while they're looking at these people in the political state, we've got an infiltrator, so many infiltrators in the midst. And we can't see them because they camouflage. Because the idol and the golden calf is that they look like us. They walk like us. They talk like us. So they can't see. Abba Yah, prepare us for the division that is taking place. Because there is a great division, Abba Yah. Help us to not fall ensnared to those with fake love. Abba Yah. People who want to be gatekeepers. When you didn't hire nobody, I didn't know there was an interview for gatekeepers. I didn't know there was an interview for gatekeepers, Abba Yah. And then promoted themselves to secretary gatekeeper. Abba, let this not be in our midst. Let our people see the deception and run. Let us discern who is of you and who is not of you. They are telling us who you have called, Abba Yah, and who you haven't called. And there are murderers in the midst of your people, killing people, telling them salvation can never be theirs, causing them to fall into a ditch of despair, Abba Yah. You didn't call us to be a graveyard. You didn't call us to be a burial ground. You have called us to be a priest to the nation. Why be a priest if there's no one to lead? Father, remove those who are never called. Expose those who are never chosen. And cause those who appointed themselves to fall. Because they are leading your sheep to the slaughter again. Give us ears to hear, eyes to see. Give us a ruach of obedience. Help us to stay away from religion. From that thing I heard y'all say to me when they know it was nothing that came from you. And sometimes they actually think it was of you, but it's not. Humble them, Abba Yah. Let your people understand that they're not going to any wilderness now. Because Jacob must be tried. Jacob must go through the fire. And if they know, Abba Yah, if they know you, they will yield to you. But if they do not know, brother will turn against brother, sister will turn against sister, and they will not know that they are killing their own stock. There is a lying spirit that has entered Abba Yah. And it is dressed in fake humility. It is dressed in gentleness. It is dressed in kindness. It is dressed, Abba Yah, in sheep's clothing. But your sheep know your voice, Father. A goat will always smell like a goat because they stink even if they put sheep's clothes on. So let the stench of the goat rise, Abba Yah, so we can know who is for you and who is against you. Expose the goat. Expose the tares. And those of you, us who know you, Abba Yah, hold us. Strengthen us. Guide us. Lead us. Speak to us. Speak to us, Abba Yah, the way you spoke to Samuel, the way you spoke to David, the way you spoke to Isaac, the way you spoke to Abraham, the way you spoke to Manoah, the way you spoke to your servants of old, Abba Yah. Speak to us because you have not changed. You have not changed. You woke us up and these people actually think they made it to the finish line. Telling people they can't come in. They can't drink from the water that gives life, Abba Yah. And those you never called, they let come in selling a birthright. They said, I'll never be like Esau. I'll never sell my birthright for some soup. But they're selling a birthright for a skin color, Abba Yah. They diminish the covenant, Abba Yah, to people who look like them. As opposed to people who look like you. Mercy, Father. Have mercy, Abba Yah. Have mercy, Abba Yah. Prepare us for the great divide, Father. Prepare us for the division that is coming. Expose our foes to us. Because any foe of yours is our foe, even if they are our kin. And anyone who is a friend of yours, Abba Yah, is our friend, even if they are not our kin. Prepare your sheep, Father. Prepare us, Abba. Remove loyalty for lawlessness. Remove loyalty for lawlessness out of us. Remove it, Father, and have your way in us. Even so, Yosha, come. We wait for you. So you will step on the winepress, and you will begin in the house of Yaakov. Let it be that we are part of the remnant as we see the days and the times that are upon us. Cover us, shield us. Be exalted, Abaya. In the name and the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach. So be it, and be it so. Ruach Yahuwah. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing this time with me. Don't follow the crowd. It will lead you astray. Don't follow the masses. It will lead you astray. You can't be friends with everybody. Even people in your own household. Because there is a division that is taking place. Yashua will be divided again in smaller pieces. And those who know their Yah will cleave to him. Yah is about to take peace away from the earth. Yashua is not exempted. And that is the reason why you hear and you see all these people saying, they are Yashua, they are not Yashua, they can be of us, they can't be of us, this, that, and the other. It is the beginning of the great divide. Divide and conquer, so that they can destroy themselves from the inside. And Yah's wrath pours out on them, and he utterly destroys them. Yes, we are the covenant inheritors. We are the priests of the nations. But the others can cleave and they can be saved. But beware, because there is a division and there is a conquering. And it's already begun in Yahshua. So only a remnant. Hold on to the blood, hold on to the testimony, and be saved.
It's a revolution. We're equipped for the tribulation. God's laws are written on our hearts and minds. We're breaking down the altars of Baal. We ain't worshiping Moloch now. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of His testimony. The blood and the testimony. Do you have the testimony? Do you have His testimony? Are you whiter than snow? Whiter than snow. Whiter than snow. Whiter than snow. Are you whiter than snow? Yeah, whiter than snow. It's another Maccabean war. Judah's lined up and ready to roar. Do you have the blood of the Lamb to cover you to stand before the great I am? See the skies roll back. Do you hear that shofar